Morning everyone. It is a Thursday. It's pretty cold. Getting ready to go into work. The cars are frosty, but weirdly enough, wifey's, or should I say my cube, and the truck are not. You can kind of see out of them, which is a good thing. So it is minus temperatures today. It's going to be really cold. We've got a lot of rain coming over the next few days, and then I think we're supposed to warm up into the weekend, but yeah, it's kind of changeable, very changeable. Hope you're well, hope you're good. So yesterday's video ended abruptly because yeah, GoPro just decided it wasn't going to play ball and stop recording for some reason, so the end of yesterday was kind of corrupted, so apologies about that. Some good comments in the comment section, lots of feedback, lots of people getting involved, which is smashing. Thank you very much for that, that's awesome. We have got an Audi A4 coming in today. That's having a fascia kit, Pioneer, all the bits and bobs. And then I'm going to probably jump on with a truck. I've got some bits and bobs I need to get sorted. Two things. The compass at the minute is currently out and it's dismantled on my bench at work because there is two bulbs which apparently only Mitsubishi sell, and I've got to order them from Mitsubishi. We no longer have a dealer in Swindon, so I've got to get them from Oxford, and that's going to come over, and then I can rebuild the top of the dash, and then I'm doing lights. We're doing the light bar, we're doing switches, relays, wiring, all of that good stuff on the roof. So that's coming this afternoon probably. I started yesterday, but we lost all the footage. A good comment about the hedge units and talking about which one I'd have and why, and pros and cons for the floating screens. There are only really 4 people that make them. Pioneer do an Evo, Sony's new one which has just come out, but they've had previous floating screens too. Kenwood's Big 10.1 and the Alpine Halo. The Halo has probably been around the longest, then the Pioneer I guess, and then Sony and Kenwood. Really the Alpine is kind of the original floating design. The mechanism to put together is very complicated. The fact that you don't have screen buttons and everything is kind of like sense touch keys like on a phone doesn't really work well. The menus I find confusing, and it's not really well thought out in the way that you'd want to start using a menu when you're driving. It's very complicated, which, you know, that's a big issue. When you're behind the wheel of a car, you're not supposed to be playing with your radio, but we all do. But it should be made simple, that you don't, you know, you're looking at sub menus and all this other stuff while you're trying to navigate your car down the road. So the Halo, although it was the original one, it's very complicated, it's very clunky. I don't like the menus, I don't like the fact that it's got fake buttons, but it was all right when it came out. It was a big seller when it came out because it was the first of its kind, but its technology has never moved on, and I think Alpine have failed on that because they should have updated it and done a newer one with buttons and maybe a dial or whatever, you know, made the menus easier to use. The Pioneer, similar sort of thing. So I had one of the first 8.2s that they made just to test because I like the look of the Halo, but I never liked the way it was, like its interface, its human interface was a bit cockeyed. So I bought one of the first Evo 8.2s to play with because I wanted to sell them. Now Pioneer went about it the wrong way, as in they made a screen and they made a mech at the back, but they then joined the two with a cable. Now a lot of these floating screens, they have almost like a cartridge like you get on a Nintendo 64, and the cartridge is internally, the cartridge is inside the mech that bolts the screen to the chassis. So when you plug in that screen, obviously you're bolting the screen to the unit, but you're also locating that cartridge into the radio face itself, and then that gives the screen power and picture and all its information. Pioneer didn't do a cartridge style input. They chose to do a lead, and the lead wasn't long enough. You could buy an extension to make the lead longer, but then the lead was too long. And what basically happened is you ended up with a big screened radio, and on some dashes you need to change obviously the face from being like a what I'd call a negative back, a sweep back towards the dash, to a positive. So you want, if your dash is already sloped backwards, you don't want the screen further backwards because you're going to look at glare. So you want the screen cantilevered forward so you get a better picture of the screen. Now, Pioneer's cable didn't really work. It wasn't long enough, and to be honest, I had it like 2-3 hours and sent the thing back because I just found it really frustrating. I had a conversation with Pioneer and they said, you know, there is scope for an extension lead, and even they admitted that it wasn't finished yet. It was pushed out of the door to you know, to show that they could do it, but it wasn't ready yet. It wasn't finished. So it really only leaves you two options, which is the Kenwood and the Sony. Now, the Sony is good. One thing I've always noted with Sonys, I like the fact that the radio fascia is black, and it's very understated. It's a very classy looking unit. It's not bells and whistles. It doesn't look like tits on a fish. They're very understated, and the fact that they have like nice little buttons and things like that is a big plus for it. That's a very, very good thing on Sony's behalf. The one thing I will say is I find the screen to be very matte. I find the colours to be a bit toned down, and there's a limitation on certain aspects of the unit with regards to, you want it like a HD TV at home, you want it to be brilliant, you want it to be this, you want it to be that. And I always feel like the new Sonys, you're looking at them as if they're through almost like a fly net. They just seem a bit matte, a bit dull, a bit toned down, which really only leaves you the Kenwood. They've got similar features, they've got the wireless stuff, they've got the camera integration. Obviously the Kenwood does 4 cameras as opposed to everyone else's kind of 1 or 2. But the Kenwood carries with it a monumental price tag. Is it worth £1,000? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, it is down to sort of personal preference, but it is £1,000 stereo. Now, if I'm completely honest, I do love the one I've got in the Cube, and it is a blinding stereo. But I think £1,000 price tag is a lot of money. Now, are they erring on the side that, well, nobody else does all the things that ours does, and that's why we can afford to charge what we do? Maybe, because it does tick every single box. But then it is a 10.1, and not everyone's dash can cope with a 10.1 inch screen. So out of all of it, I definitely say that the Sony and the Kenwood come out on top. I only wish the Sony screen was more vivid, and the fact that the Kenwood has a dial as well as a, you know, you can push it in and accept stuff, and you can turn things up and down on the volume knob, is a bit of a win. And I do like the Kenwood massively. I have had problems with my Kenwood Mind. So we've had screen flickering, we've had strobing effect, we've had picture loss. So we'll come back and discuss when the Sony is used a bit more and see how that fares. But for now, I'd probably say the Sony or the Kenwood is your winner. I'm going to shut up and do some shopping. I'll see you in a bit.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Morning, everyone. How are we? Let me just turn down old Bob and the Wailers just before we get copyrighted. So, how is it? We're doing some bits on the Cube. Special registration for Wi-Fi. Yes, it's ASC. Too right. We've got a... Oh, here we go. What's happening? I swear to God, GoPro, you will be the death of me. So yes, we've got our first one in. Bloody batteries. So we've got our A4. This is having a fascia kit, and we've got to fit his own Sony. So we've got full Bose system. We've got to change the head unit, put the fascia kit in, sort all that bits and bobs. Then over here we've got this is that center thing which I was talking about in the truck, my truck. So it's got these ridiculously stupid bulbs which sit inside, so that officially, just grab this bloody thing, that sits in there, and that's basically our bulb, like that. And they sit right inside this, which is in there. 14 quid for a pair of bulbs. You're having a bloody laugh, aren't you? But apparently there's only one that fits it, one that it's Mitsubishi only, so we're stuck with that. I have looked at an LED alternative to see if I could make it work, but it's just getting this into that hole. It's just going to be a pain in the bum, so we've had to order bulbs from Mitsubishi. It is what it is. So I'm going to crack on with this A4. I'll come back to you in a bit. We've also ordered discs, pads, rear wheel bearings for this. We'll do some mechanics on this hopefully today, get it ready for wifey. We're still waiting on the tax, although I did the tax online yesterday so I can drive the car. It's still registered as not showing tax, so I can't swap the registrations over, therefore it's just a ball ache. So she's got my cube, I've got this cube still. We're just going to crack on with some work. I'll come back to you in a bit. See ya. Right then guys, Audi's done. Get this one sent out, getting ready to be picked up. Took a little bit longer than expected. We had to change some bits and put some bits right. This headline is falling down, but we've got microphone in the middle, digital aerial over there, and there is our stereo. USB's in the glove box out the way. But yeah, pretty much straightforward. It's a full Bose system, so we've got a full Bose lead on it, cage and whatnot in. This one's done. So I'm going to get this outside. It's nearly lunchtime, so I'll come back to you in a bit. Evening all. Just getting a bit very OCD on a install. So we're sorting out the lights for the Jeep. We've got braided loom and twinkle. I've made a bracket for the big bar, which is going to go here, and then we've got two little ones which are going to sit on the spoiler. But I've run all the braided loom through the spoiler, and then if I hop up here, through the spoiler, out of rubber grommet, so when this is mounted on the car like so, we'll have these bad boys on here, and that one over there, and we've put little grommets through the stays. It's kind of like the safest way to get it into the car, but we'll have these on the back, which are quite different, and a big strip there. And then inside comes through here on a grommet, and then I can then run that through there into the car down to some switches at the front. So we're still playing. What time is it? 4 o'clock. I've got a couple of hours. I get fully feeding these cables through, give myself some length, and then I can do all my connections inside the water jacket, so we're not panicked for, you know, space or whatever. So I'm going to crack on with this. I'll come back to you in a bit. Evening everyone. We're just doing so I've managed to get all the connections through the spoiler into the car through the little rubber grommets, which has been an absolute mission. Light bar is fitted, rear lights are fitted. I've managed to run the cable all the way down to the front, so it's basically in my frontal region. But I'm probably going to run out of time today to connect it all up. We can do a test, and I shit you not, it's evil, like real evil. So I'll get this connected up, we'll get this soldered, and then we'll basically move to the front of the vehicle. We'll get a battery and the test meter hooked up, the power probe. We'll put some power down it and you can see what we're working with, but Jesus Christ. It's going to be like the truck, the other one, the Land Cruiser. I've ordered my stuff from Mitsubishi today. So we've got the actuators coming for the flashing light. I've ordered the bulbs. Mitsubishi are the only ones that seem to do it, so you're kind of stuck with, shall we say, their pricing. And some bad news today, so I'm going to share it with you. We had Wayne in earlier, so he's taken the BMW over to he took it over to Mini. Let's just stop this music a second, because you're probably hearing that on the video. So Wayne took the BMW, the Mini, over to Mini. I had what started off with a really promising chap called Alex, who works at BMW. He was given my information by Wayne and basically said, look, you know, this guy's done it, or if you need any help or questions, queries, ask him. So he phoned me and said, you know, what's the best way to go about this? Because obviously it's, you know, nobody knows everything. And he was ringing basically to get advice into the stuff that we'd done and what was said, what was going on. And basically I sent him the video that we did. So we had the video of me in the back of the car, which we did the other day with the sound processor and the RTA, showing the speaker feeds there, and obviously the rear right channel, the speaker feed missing. Somehow, I don't know what happened, but Wayne basically phoned me and said the service manager had basically spoken with him on the phone and said, I told you that I wanted the car basically returned to stock. We cannot, you know, we cannot test the stuff that Alex can. So in order for us to do anything about it, we need the car returned to standard, which obviously is not going to happen. Wayne's just paid a lot of money to have all of that installed. We're not about to rip it out for a warranty claim, which is just silly. Basically, they have screwed Wayne off. He is, well, that's probably the wrong word. They've pissed Wayne off, right? He is like your best customer ever, all right? He's a lovely guy. He's really down to earth. And he's one of those golden guys where he comes to you and says, I want this, how much is it going to cost? He puts trust in you, as long as obviously you show him that you know what you're doing. He puts all his trust in you and you say, Wayne, this is going to be the price. And he's like, can I pay now? That's it. There's no argument. There's no beef. There's no, can you do it for a £5? He's literally like the best customer ever. And now considered a friend, because he is a lovely guy. So he's basically come away. The car has come back to him with no warranty work done. Still the same attitude that they cannot test for the things that I can. I even offered to go over with my RTA and my laptop to help them diagnose the problem and show them what the issue was. And I even said to Alex, their mechanic on the phone, you don't need to do anything else. I've done the legwork. We know what the problem is. It's the rear right channel on the head unit. Change the silver bit behind the dash and then let me do the rest. That's all you need to do. So Wayne basically had a phone call from the service manager. Him and his brother went down there. They've picked up the Mini. My understanding is that his brother, on the way down there, they phoned me and asked my advice. And I was kind of a bit taken back because I thought they were going to do something about it, and in the end they haven't. There are no head units available. Obviously there is no stock. Wayne asked about doing, you know, how much would it cost, and, you know, just swap it over. And basically the service manager said, no, it's too expensive. Just want the car back to standard and we'll deal with it then. obviously they've got no stock, appreciate that. But yeah, basically Wayne has said now that he is not ever going to deal with Lovitz again, which is a shame, because I really think they've missed the trick. Wayne is an excellent customer. He is no hassle. You tell him, he just pays, the job is done. So I'm a little bit embarrassed that he's been treated such. It could have been handled differently as far as I'm concerned, but now he's basically said, I'm not taking my car back there again. You know, he's lost trust in them basically. I've spelled it out for them, and it's really easy what they need to do, and I think he was not handled properly, and consequently now is not interested in entertaining any work or money given to Lovitz because of it, which is just, it's so stupid, because obviously he's a potential future customer spending more money on minis or whatever. He is one of the good guys, and I kind of feel like he's been a bit shit on, which is not good. But what he's basically said is, we'll find the head unit when they come back into stock. Wayne's just going to pay for it outright. He's not going to bother with warranty. He's just going to foot the bill, which, you know, in my opinion is wrong. He's only just bought that car. And I'm going to do the whole swap and everything again. Putting in the unit, making it work, and then reprogramming all the back and stuff as we have done before. So a little bit of a sour taste really, because I know everyone jokes about main dealers being stubborn and, you know, a bit irritating because they don't, if it's not their own kit, they don't want to get involved. But in a world where they have no stock for Harman because it's running out and chips are, you know, Korea's got problems with deliveries and things like that, you'd want to see them do an aftermarket option, and it doesn't seem like they're interested at all, which is a massive shame. And I'm a bit gutted that they've dealt with Wayne that way, because he is like customer, you know, you hear of public enemy number one. Well, Wayne is everyone's dream customer. He is that guy. He doesn't cause a fuss. He doesn't like confrontation. He doesn't like abuse. Doesn't like aggression. He just wants people to help him out. And obviously, if you show him an ounce of consideration and respect, then lo and behold, his wallet purse strings are open, and he's like, "Yep, you're my guy. Do whatever needs to be done," and he just pays. He's brilliant. So, unfortunately, a bad end so far for the Mini. We didn't get the result we wanted. I will take care of it now. We are going to get a head unit when it comes back into stock, and he's just going to pay for it outright. And we just deal with it, you know, as we were going to deal with it, and not in a warranty case, which is a shame, real shame. But hey ho, what do you do? So here's the lights. Obviously we're running into little grommets into the spoiler holes, so these are replaceable, nice and easy. So we've got two little water grommets, we've got braided loom running onto the roof and then over to the light bar. Same on this side, braided loom into a grommet through the spoiler, comes down in the center, and then it's in the headliner all the way to the bottom. And obviously this will be my connections into the dash when I get sorted. But what we'll do is I'll set the tripod up, we'll turn on the lights and let you have a little display. So give me a second, I'll get set up. Right, you ready for this one? That's the front. Pretty awesome. And then the back one. You ready? Pretty bright, right? So we've got, yeah, proper expedition lights going on. Awesome. With my little brackets and stuff I've made to keep that on. Obviously now I just need to get the switches and the relays and everything on board. But other than that, it's there. Very hard steel, and a really cool way of putting the brackets through there. So I like that. Good work, good day. This braided loom's tough as hell as well, so it should fare well under conditions. But that is today's wrapped up. We've got our cables ready for tomorrow, but we'll tackle that in the morning. We had the A4 picked up, the Audi's gone. So I'm going to make sure I sign off a video today because yesterday was terrible. A4's been picked up, the guy's super happy. We've had a couple of customers come back with work to be rebooked in. Roof shake. We've had a couple of customers come back with work to be booked back in. So we've got amp and sub to do for somebody. Well, yeah, just general kids presents and all sorts are coming in. It's brilliant. Christmas is going to be really busy. We are booking around about 22nd, 23rd now. And then it's straight into New Year's. So done for today. I'm sorry if the video's been a bit talky or a bit time-lapsey, but I've kind of had to crack on with stuff. So I love you and leave you. We've up on the subscriber count. We're at 187 something, 1873 I think I saw. So thank you everyone. I will see you bright and early in the morning for a little chat. Bye.
You told me you had subscribed to ASC Audio and now you've missed an episode.